Yeah, framing, you do that in side control, you do that in half guard, you do that in mount, you do that everywhere. You do it on top. So it's not just exclusive to this, but I'm teaching exclusive to half guard because that's what we're going to work today. So Tim's down on top, right? And this is probably the half guard that you're used to, where, you know, I got his leg wrapped up. I really don't have a ton of options other than underhook, and I sneak out the back. Okay? The problem with this is right now Tim has a lot of control. And I actually have very little control other than when I frame. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into a different style of half guard that gives me way more options and makes Tim have to play on my terms and in my game versus me playing in his game right now. So you're going to start here. You're going to do the exact same thing you just did. I frame on his hip. I bring this in. I frame on his body. I'm going to bridge up. I keep my frames high as I hit my hips out. Now, what we're going to do different. This outside leg now is going to slide in and go all the way up to his chest. Okay, let's turn a little bit. Okay, so it's going to go all the way up on his chest. Now, this knee is going to do the work that I was doing with my top framing arm, right? Because I was here, okay? Now that I slid the knee in, now it's doing the work of that top framing arm. And my knee is doing the framing. So now I can let go of this hand, and I'm going to come and get his sleeve on this side. Okay, and I need the sleeve for a couple of reasons. One, for control, to keep him from passing, and two, I don't have to worry about leg locks then. Okay, so from here, what I'm looking for from this framing leg is I need it to be in a straight line from his chest, okay, all the way through to my hip to the ground. So it's making a straight line all the way down to the ground. And that way, if Tim, no matter how big he is, if he's a malnourished guy like he is, or if he's like a super strong big dude, when he pushes into me, push in, okay, he's not, push, okay, he's not making me work hard. He's working hard, trying to get around my leg and trying to push him on. He's framed all the way through there to the hip. Now look what happens. If you guys want to come on this side so you can see, because you need to look at the knee to see what's going on here. Another little note, look at how shallow this inside leg is. I'm still hooking his leg, right? But it's not super deep. Because if it's super deep, it's committing it there. When it's here, I'm still controlling it, but now I can pull it out if I want and start playing other stuff. Okay? So it's just shallow. Now, look at the difference. Here it's framed. So try and push down. I'm pretty comfortable here. Now look, slight difference. Slide it 2 inches down. Now push. And he breaks it down. Okay, and that's going to happen. We're going to explain what to do when that does happen. But you need to get to here where you got this good frame. Okay, and actually let's go over what happens when he does that. So he breaks this down. Let's say for some reason he muscles this leg down, he breaks it down. Now I don't have that leg to frame, so I need to replace it with that original arm. So this is going to frame and create space. And I might have to hip out a little bit to get that knee back in. And now my knee's back framing. Now I can go back to the grip. Does that make sense? Okay, so maybe he pops this leg down. So push the leg down. Okay, he breaks it down. I need to replace it with this to frame because I need to control the space. That's what this position is all about, me controlling the space. If I control the space, then he's playing on my time. And I can decide where the match goes. I can decide what positions I want to go to. If I play on his time, then he decides. Okay? So one way he can try, what he wants to, one thing he can do is break that knee down. Okay, I frame him, I hip out, I slide that knee back up, and I scoop my hips back under, and just get back to here. The other thing Tim can do, so just sit down. The other real common thing Tim can do is he can push this knee in and start crowding me. Okay, so push that knee in, crowd it. Right? And this is what he wants. Eventually he's going to pop his arm off and we're back to square one. This is good for Tim. Now I'm playing on his time. I need to get out of here. Okay, so rewind. So what we're going to do for here, if he pushes this knee down and covers it, I'm going to use this hand now to frame. Hip out and slide the knee back through. He pushes it through, covers it up. I frame it, hip out, and get back to my square one. Okay, so all I'm going to have you do with a partner now is I want you to just practice getting from this position, the beginning position you're just doing. You're going to do what you just did. Frame here, bridge up, keep your frame here, hip out. But now you're going to take this top knee, slide it through to his chest, and notice how I turn my body to square up with him. Bring down and grab the sleeve so you got good control. And we're just going to get to here for now. Okay, and notice how this top foot here is kind of wrapping around his back. It's not just lazy out here for him to either mess me up or not do much. I'm kind of bringing it down and hooking it on there. And this morning some guys are putting on his hip. That's okay, but then I think it takes some of the weight off of my frame. Once you get to here, have your top partner push down into you and just make sure that you have this framed off so that it feels real comfortable going through your leg, through your hip to the ground. Okay? And then we're going to just do that for now and then we'll go to the next step. Sound good? Let's try it. It's going to be a little different for everyone. Some people are finding better success turning a little bit more of an angle and putting it more in the center of this chest. So that when he pushes down, I'm controlling the center of the chest. So maybe play with that when you go back with your partner. Also, this sleeve needs to stay pinned to my hip. Okay? Because if this sleeve is loose, then he's going to be able to grab my pants, he's going to be able to, he might weave it under, and we have answers for all of that, depending on what he does, right? But for now, we're just going to pin it down. And if we go into sweeps, we go into submissions, we might move it from there, but for now, we're going to leave it there. So from now, we're going to go into the next step. There's two things we're going to do here. One's going to be more oriented towards white belts, one's going to be more oriented towards blue belts, but I'm going to show them both. You can try them both. The blue belt one for the white belts will just be for fun. So like I said, one of the things Tim wants to do is he wants to push his knee down. What happens when he pushes that knee down? What did he do?
His body shifts. His body.
His hips come up. Yeah. So rewind. Watch his hips when he pushes down. Right? Perfect. That's good for me. Now his weight is high. So what I'm going to do is when he pushes down and his hips come up, I'm taking this underhook, this underleg, okay, the leg that's under here, and I'm going to kick. What does he have to do? Base. So by him basing, that gives me an opportunity now to take this sleeve and swim under to get my underhook. And it's easy. I'll get it all day long. If I can get him to base. So, you're going to start in that good position. Again, play around with this, glued to the hip. Your partner's going to push your knee down. When he does that, you take your foot and you kick in his armpit to get him to base. When he bases, you take this hand, okay, and then the sleeve hand, and then it's going to let go of the sleeve, swim under. You still need to hip out. You still need to shuck him back, okay? It's not any different than the regular white belt half guard escape. And then you can come up, you can start tagging back and whatever from there. So that's number one. That's for the white belts to do. For the blue belts, the reason that we have this leg not very deep is because we're going to transition into a lot of different things. Later down the road, you can play with stuff like if he weaves, I could switch into butterfly, or spider, excuse me. Play spider. If he brings the knee up, which the inside knee. I can switch to De La Hiva, right? Or sloppy, but you get what I'm saying. So I'm going to transition to a bunch of things. All we're going to transition to now is where he weaves. So maybe he broke that grip or whatever, and he weaves. And now I'm going to get some opportunity to transition into something. So keeping him framed and then biting down this inside hand that he wove with, I'm going to slowly slide that inside leg out. Once I get there, I'm going to invert. Okay, and when I invert, it's not just pivoting on my back like this. That's what people were doing this morning. I'm diving this hand under. I'm using this hip, this knee that's in his, that's framing as a pivot between that and my shoulder. See how I'm up on my shoulders and my hips are up in the air? That makes it so much easier for me to pivot. And I can come down into my omoplata. Okay, I could do my sweeps from here. I could go for the submission. I could do whatever from there, but at least I got into the next position. So he weaves, I grab that inside hand that he wove with, and I bite down with it, so it's stuck there. Slowly, that inside bottom half guard leg, I'm going to slowly pull out and bring across. From here, I invert. And I'm not, again, I know people are going to do this, I'll help you, but you need to get up on your shoulders, and your hips need to go to the sky, and I'm using this pivot point, the framing knee, and my shoulder as a pivot point, so that I can get high, like this. See that? And lock up my Omoplata. From there I can sweep, I can do whatever. Okay, so that's the big point is just getting the hips up and getting up on the shoulders, because a lot of people mess that up. It'll make it 10 times harder if you don't do that. So, we got two options. You got he pushes the knee down, you kick. When he bases with the hand, you underhook and sneak out the back. If you want to play with the Omoplata one, you can do that too. That's where he weaves, and then you get that hook and invert. Let's try it. We don't have much time to roll, but we'll get it done. Okay, so this position is not something that, it's probably pretty new to a lot of you, this type of half guard where you're creating space. And you got to work with your framing, you got to work with your gripping. There's a lot of things that go into it before you go into the rest of the moves, right? So just your homework is just play with that and have some fun with it. Don't get frustrated if you get messed up with it. Don't get frustrated if you don't get it right away. Just play with it, have some fun. If you're going with someone that's lower ranking than you, or you know you can beat up, that's perfect. Play with them in this position and have some fun with it, and just figure out what you can do from there. And then after that, if you have questions and you have specific scenarios, feel free to grab me, and I'd be more than happy to help with that. Cool, guys. So let's get all the color belts on this side, all the white belts on this side, and let's part.